Hello, I'm Dr. Margaret or Maggie Irving. Do you fancy me? Hold on. That was a soulful line delivered by me to a member of an audience at Plymouth University back in 2002. I wasn't a doctor then, but this short interchange as me as a clown, the comic outcomes of that features in my practice as research PhD in what it is to be a woman and to become a clown. So why would anybody want to become a clown? Let me explain. I went to university back in 2001 because I essentially wanted to train to become a drama teacher, and I didn't have a degree then. The second module on this course was popular theatre, with the focus on the clown. This interchange I had with the spectator was transformational. I was 40, a kind of somewhat desperate creature on stage, kind of chimed with my home life. No, but seriously, I was getting separated from my husband at that time. So this creature, she was wearing big clumpy shoes, her hair was strewn over to one side, lots of makeup, and quite desperate. So whilst the response from that spectator was a firm, "Get me out of here," the reaction from the audience was laughter. It's like I kind of flounced away and came back and flounced away with increased desperation. It was hilarious. It was kind of sad and funny at the same time. I mean, you had to be there. But from that point, I knew I wanted to understand and know more about clowning. Where were the women who were clowning? Strangely, in 2004, there was hardly any information at all written about women who clown. Everything in the clown canon, boom, was about men. So all I knew and felt that it was an art form that was highly liberating. I didn't have to look good or behave myself. And which very much applies to people nowadays. And it certainly did when I was growing up. And then when I was growing up, my mother used to lovingly shout, "Margaret, pull your stomach in. Margaret, sit up straight. Margaret, close your legs together." And then it was, "Margaret, 10 to 2. And that was a reference to the fact that I walked down the street a bit like Charlie Chaplin. So my research looked at the myths, the stereotypes, questions around gender, questions about language and social roles. And it certainly, I've certainly proposed that you don't have to wear one of these to be a clown. Actually, the red nose has got connotations of the drunkard, and was used initially as a training device. I mean, sometimes we need a mask in order to clown, but you don't have to have one to clown. So we can all be clowns. We can all mess up, spill some coffee down the blouse, chop up on the banana skin. I mean, I do it every day. My response when I mess up, I don't do it every day. What a confession. But my response when I mess up is go, "Clown." And the thing is about when we think clown, when we do mess up, we can actually change that negativity into something humorous. Often I use the analogy of the baby, a baby who's learning to walk. When a baby learns to walk, they take their first step and they fall down on that beautifully padded bottom. and we laugh, and the baby laughs. They don't think, oh, what a failure, I'm not doing that again. They laugh, they get the reaction. And I say, when you get the comedy reaction, I advise, do that again. So, little tip, we get the laugh, listen, do that again. Don't get embarrassed. That's what the clown does. They work with failure to change the story. And if the outcome is comedy, that's fantastic. So I've created quite a number of clowns. Besides this clown character who trampled around the stage in these clumpy shoes, I developed a clown based on the life of a woman. I would call her the grandmother of Dada, Baroness Elsa. She was a radical artist of the earlier 20th century. And I took this clown character to the Tate Modern, to Edinburgh Festival, and sort of kind of to show that you don't what might we wear, what different costumes and masks might one wear to be a clown. I then explored Shakespeare's Falstaff, so I kind of did a bit of dragging and looked at what it is to play a male clown and sort of breathe the female experience into this male clown. And then I created a clown called Seducer Medusa, very much based on the myth of Medusa. She had this headdress of 52 writhing crocheted snakes. And it was all about encouraging people to smile and to wink. So many, we were maybe thinking, oh, Charlie Chaplin, circus clowns, children's party entertainer, big grotesque makeup. Or we might be thinking scary clowns, wielding a machete, and even people like the Joker in Batman. And then there's the odd political clown. So, but clowning is far more complex. It's got very many more layers. It's a more nuanced mask we can use, a more nuanced way of thinking creatively and behaving and responding, which can be really useful in business. And for some women, it might involve a little bit of madness. It might involve being a little bit more unsocialized, and it certainly will involve them feeling a lot more liberated. So these forays into clowning led me into teaching not just clowning but writing and performing comedy. And I went on to do various performances in walking performances and taking these characters, this clown character, especially Seducer Medusa, into the world of business. And I've spent the past 12 years teaching in universities, in the business community, in the education, health, the caring community. And it was interesting because when I thought, oh my goodness, I am really enjoying this clowning, I wonder if other women would enjoy it. In 2011, I went along to a Women in Business Network meeting, and I had a 1-minute pitch. And I said, does anybody here like to find out how clowning might help their professional life? Would you like to be a bit silly, play, be a bit mischievous? And out of 18 women, 12 went yes. And I went on to another meeting and I said the same thing. And out of 32 women, 25 women went, please, pick me. I went, wow. So I was kind of surprised and pleased. And why would people in the business community want to learn about clowning? So let me explain a little more. How many times have you sat through a keynote speech, a talk, PowerPoint presentation, only to drift off, check your mobile phone, and think, oh gosh, this is dull? A little sprinkle of well-judged humour can make a huge difference to a talk. Because when we do a talk and bring some humour into it, we get a reaction. Humor is a communication. What it does, it's like social glue. It's got that stickiness. People bond with us when they make people laugh. When we have laughter, lots of feel-good endorphins are produced in the body, and so that from that reaction, we bond with people. Bonding. We like witty people. We want to work with witty people. So think of wit as being a hugely important value in business. So it's not just about kind of just sprinkling a little bit of humor, well-judged humor into a speech. Goofing around, letting your hair down, being a bit silly can reap results. Because when we start to play and laugh, the brain opens up and can create get far more creative. So think back to the children who were young and very playful, to the adults. How much are we playing? How much are we getting silly? And taking kind of those risks, stepping outside the box of normality. Now maybe one or two of you saying like, oh, acting the fool, being a bit silly, being a bit daft. I do it all the time, all the time. But very few of us will enter into that mode. We want to be seen as being normal. There's a theatre practitioner and trainer and a writer called Keith Johnston, and in his book Impro, he says, people who say yes have an adventure. People who say no stay safe. And I would say stay sane too. So sometimes we have to kind of make a judgment if we want to step outside the box. And I think certainly as a clown, and often as a stand-up comedian, you are taking a risk with comedy. So we kind of have to kind of learn, what are those techniques? How do I make myself funnier? Is it just about being silly? That's part of it. But we were kind of like, want to kind of create a culture where people feel more relaxed, more playful at work. It's going to improve not just our wealth, but our health. And comedy has this wonderful healing effect, doesn't it? It's like a natural pill. About a fortnight ago, I was in the shower and I felt really down. I thought, oh God, what should I do? Really, really kind of pit of the stomach down. And I just thought, you need to laugh. So I literally started going, ha, 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 ha. And I started laughing. Naturally, I do not know what my son was thinking in the room next door, but my mood changed instantly. So when we create that mood change through the laughter, through the good endorphins, we start to open up the mind and feel good about ourselves. So humor is serious business. It can make such a difference to us. We can reap rewards. One of the things I teach people or advise people to do is to keep a notebook. So get yourself a notebook or use your mobile phone. And if people laugh at anything you say, write it down, make a note, build up a repertoire of material. You might not ever use it again, but it might well come in useful in a speech, at a talk you've got to do. Also, they say time plus tragedy equals comedy. If something bad happens or you mess up, kind of make a mental note, put it in that notebook, because at some point you probably look back and laugh at it. And it could be a nice story to slot into a speech, to exemplify, make a point. So think speech, think story. What's the story I could put in there? Where can I get a little bit of laughter? And if it's coming personally, if it's coming from an honest place, it will really resonate with your audience, and you'll create that social glue. You know, my mum these days says, keep your chin up. I think we all need to, in more ways than one. So before I go, I'm just going to invite you to do something. First of all, smile at me. Thank you. Ooh, not my nose. Thank you. And now wink. That's wink. And the other eye. So we start to get a bit silly. Do it in the morning. Stand in front of the mirror and think of a problem. And then smile and wink. Maybe even pout. Let me know how it goes. I'm Dr. Maggie Irving. My business is called Comedy Matters. If you need some support, get in touch, or just like to know a little bit more. So for now, it's last orders at the bar. Before I kind of disappear, it's cheers. Here's to humour. Bye-bye.